Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Been a little busy here the last few days, so I haven't had a chance to do much of any videos, but I thought today I would do one. I'm going to make some Italian bread crusted pork chops. We're going to bread them and then just brown them a little bit in some oil, and then we'll put them in the oven and let them finish cooking. I'm also going to make a shredded potato au gratin. I've shredded up 4 potatoes here. I've got them sitting in some water. I'll drain them here shortly. And then we're going to mix in the cheddar cheese sauce, which I made is 4 ounces of cheddar cheese, sharp cheddar, 4 ounces of medium cheddar, a half a tablespoon of butter, and 2 ounces of cream cheese. And I melt all that together and add a little bit of cream to it to make it a little thinner so that it works better, and a little salt and a little pepper. We'll mix that in with the potatoes and some onion, chopped red onion. You can use green onion too if you like. About a half of an onion chopped up, and mix it all in there. Sprinkle that all in there with some heavy cream. Toss it all around, and then we're going to put some sharp cheddar cheese slices on top, and we'll put it in the oven to bake as well. Right now we're going to do the pork chops. I've salted them down and let them sit for a little while. These are lean loin chops, boneless. And I've got some Italian breadcrumbs here that I made, and this is milk that we're going to dip them in. And I've got a pan here that I'm going to put them in when they get done frying a little bit. I'm going to heat this skillet, this cast iron skillet. I'm going to heat it up, get it ready so that we can fry them just a little bit to brown them and set the breadcrumbs on them. And right now I'm just going to go ahead and put some oil in this pan, just enough so that they don't stick to the bottom of the pan. Maybe about 3 or 4 tablespoons is all it needs. And I think that looks good. We'll let that get hot while we bread the breadcrumbs. We're going to dip them in the breadcrumb, and then we will dip them in the milk and put them back in the breadcrumbs and pat it down on them so that it stays tight. We'll pat them down really good. Put some along the sides, because sometimes those sides just don't get them. Get another plate to set these on. Oh, I'm going to have to clean cupboard doors again because I just put crap all over them. Alright, we'll put that right there. We're going to do this again. Dunk it a little bit in the milk. Now some of your crumbs do come off in the milk, but that's okay. It's not a big problem. Just make sure you do your sides, and then and push down on it kind of hard, because it makes the breadcrumbs stick to it. And we'll stick it over here, and again with this one. That's our cheese getting melted up a little bit, because I made that cheese earlier. And it got kind of stiff being in the refrigerator because I didn't want to leave it sit out. Okay, there's number 3, and let's do number 4 here. I really only need 3, but I make an extra one so my husband can take it to work the next day. Saves a lot of money on him buying lunch out every day. And he gets tired of taking sandwiches, so we have enough left that he can have it for lunch the next day. And then too, he makes the guys that he works with jealous because of the food he brings. They always tease him and tell him they're going to come move in with us. But I say, no, that's not going to happen. But it's kind of cute, though, that they do that, I think. And I think we're going to We better not. Next, when I do the potatoes, we'll just maybe throw a little breadcrumbs on top. I don't know. You don't have to. Just do what it calls for. What I told you, the heavy cream, the potatoes, and then you put them in a casserole dish and let them cook in the oven. So let's check on our cheese over here and see if it's softened up. Oh yes, it's softened up nicely. And this ends up being a cup of cheese mixture. And I just put it in here, and now it's nice and ready to mix up with the potatoes. That pan's not quite hot enough yet, so let's drain the water off of these potatoes. I use a plate. Works really well. I know I should use a colander, but I don't feel like digging it out today, so I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way before we had colanders, and just drain it and let them drain till the water's all out, and give that plate a little squeeze on there, and it helps get the rest out. So we are pretty good there. We got all our potatoes right here. These are our potatoes. I don't peel them because we like them with peel on them. Oh, I did forget to chop up my onion. Let me get an onion and chop it up. Seriously? The onion's gonna do me like that today. Can't get them out. There we go. We're certainly not going to use this big onion, but we are going to cut it in half and use it. So let me get a knife. Can't believe I forgot to chop the onion. Oh well, you know, doesn't matter. Can do it now. Not a big deal because we're only going to use half of it anyway, and the other half I'll put in a container and seal it up and use it tomorrow. Yeah, I know that might be considered a little bit of a waste on that onion, but I don't like that first ring because it usually has paper on it or a thin membrane skin, and I really just don't like that. So we're going to, come on, get back in there. Chop this up. And we'll put some salt and pepper in there. Put the cheese in, the cream. Move this out of the way so we can chop this up really good. It's not hard to do. It's a little time consuming. It'd probably be easier if I went and got the food processor, but and like I said, I don't feel like dragging that out today either, so just know that you don't have to do all that. You can do it by hand like we used to. Alright, now we're going to dump this onion into these potatoes. It may seem like a lot of onion, but red onion's not very strong usually. And I'm going to put some salt in here, I'd say about a teaspoon or so. And a couple tablespoons of black pepper. A little bit more of that than I do the salt, because you really don't need the salt. Salt's not good for you. Well, it is a little bit, but you shouldn't overdo it with salt because it's not good for your system. Let's see, that's almost ready. Now we're going to pour this cheese in here. Let's mix this up a little bit first, and then we'll pour the cheese in. Okay, pour the cheese in. Toss it around a little bit. And mind you, if your cheese is a little thin, don't worry about it, because it's going to thicken up with these potatoes cooking. And with the heavy cream, because you're going to use 2 cups of heavy cream. Now, I will tell you, if you don't feel like shredding the potatoes yourself, you can just buy a bag of shredded potatoes and do it that way. But I'm stubborn and I like to do things from scratch. So now that's all ready. Just find a dish here. Why did I do that? Find my dish here to put that in. It's a little casserole dish. I want this one. We'll spray this casserole dish. I think this is a 2-quart. Let's see, what is it? It's 1.5 quart. Big enough. 2 quarts fine. 1.5 quarts big enough. Spray that with a little oil so that it doesn't stick to it. And let's throw some of these, put these pork chops in there to get them started browning. That oil's nice and hot. Get them browned on each side. Put these potatoes in here. And then we'll put them in the oven to bake, and then right before it's ready, we're going to put them in a 350 oven, by the way. And right before it's ready to, lid on it, to be done, we will put some slices of cheddar cheese, fresh cheddar cheese that I went to the market and got earlier. Put some parchment paper in this dish. Let's get the tongs. I'll bring you over here a little bit so you can see what's going on here at the stove. And we're gonna make sure these are nice and brown. Flip that over. Oh yeah, nice and brown. Flip that over. Flip that one over. We're gonna let them cook for just a few minutes on that side. And turn our oven on to 350 and let it get hot. And then we'll put these 2 dishes in to cook. And I think I need to move this one. Yeah. And while these are getting ready, we'll finish this one up and put the last one in and let it brown. And then dinner will be ready to be put in the oven, and we'll be doing okay then. So I hope you can see this okay. Let's see what this side looks like. All right, we're nice and brown there. Yep, nice and brown. Oh yeah, beautiful. Let's put this one in and get him going. I think we need just a squirt of oil there because those other ones used up the rest. Put this little guy in there, let him get browned. Then we will get everything ready, put it in the oven, and then voila, dinner will be done in about 45 minutes to an hour it takes to cook it, to make sure, because you want to make sure pork is cooked very well. I know in the olden days they said that, it would hurt you, but it doesn't quite so much now. You can make pork like around a medium, but you just definitely don't want it rare. You want to cook it till the insides are at least 135 degrees, I believe. Yeah, 135 to 145 degrees is fine. You put your thermometer in there, and once it registers between 135 and 145 degrees, it's done. And doing them in the oven like this after they're breaded and browned a little bit, it keeps that center, the meat, so moist. It just doesn't be all dried out like frying them or just simply baking them. They come out so moist, and they're very, very delicious. And we will put them in the oven and let them cook. And for right now, I guess that's about all I got to say at the moment. So I hope y'all have a good day. Hope your day's been good. Happy eating and happy cooking. Come back again.